What's up, guys? Corey has no life 13 here. How are you doing out there today? We are here for episode number 8 of the F1 Noob career mode, and we're here today at Cirque Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, and we're just going to quickly go through and have a look to see how our upgrades went. And it looks like we did indeed get both the upgrades we asked for. So that's going to help us out a little bit here for this race. And it looks like we're also going to have a little bit of rain going into the race as well. We're having a look at the R&D tree right now. We're unlocking a lot of the tree there. And we're going to go and have a look at the chart now. And it looks like we are level pegging with Alfa Romeo at the moment. They've come in with a fairly major upgrade here in the recent past. And it looks like Toro Rosso has just kind of plateaued a bit. So that's good for us, not so good for Toro Rosso. So hopefully we can stay on the up and up as far as the upgrading goes here. But now it's time for us to go into practice and see what we're made of.
Welcome to Montreal, where the teams are ready for today's practice session at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Personally, I think we're in for a real treat today. In 1999, the outside track wall, situated on the last corner of the lap, ended the race of 3 Formula One world champions: Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve. Since then, the wall has come to be known to fans around the world as the infamous Wall of Champions.
Turns 13 and 14 are definitely the most demanding corners on the track. A quick chicane section, entering at over 180 miles per hour, drivers use plenty of curb and get very close to the wall. But hitting those curbs at the wrong angle can easily put the car offline. You'll see a lot of drivers bail out of committing into turn 13, using the escape road to avoid contact with the wall.
Alrighty, now we are going to go through and
the session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top 3. Bottas, Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. What an incredible practice session. The fun doesn't stop here though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds.
Management programs, you see Weaver was up there in 11th, ourselves in 14th, George Russell in 17th and Devin Butler in 18th for this one. And now we're going to head into practice 2. And as you can see here on the screen, we've got quite a bit of rain going on. And I'm pretty sure this one...
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with our run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
And we actually made it up into first there in practice here. 124.401. And we're also having a quick little look at the engine here, and the engine, she looks pretty roasted. So we may have to look at changing out some components here, just so we can have some fresh stuff for this race. Canada with the long black back straight, and just a couple of fairly long straights in general, with not many turns. It kind of demands having a good engine, and since we've got one of the best engines on the grid, be good to make sure we're all set for that standpoint.
Car repairs have set us back a little.
So since the rest of this session is going to be rainy, I'm pretty sure we're just going to go ahead now and just start sorting out what components we need to change. And
our best lap so far is
actually
a 1 minute
good enough here, we might
24.4.
be able to stick in top of the pops as far as the times go for this practice session. You see, not everything needed to be changed, but a lot of the things here we are changing. you'll notice here for some of these things, we've actually gone for the
speed trap,
component on the far right.
310.4 kilometers per hour.
Because the second row of components I haven't touched yet. But there's a lot of things there that are very worn out very quickly. As we're going to start skipping through the times here. It looks like George Russell up in the top 5 at the moment, but it looks like he's starting to drop down pretty quickly here. But so far, we still have the top time. And we've gone purple every single sector as well, so yeah, it looks like either the AI is very weak in the rain,
your best bet in the current conditions.
I'm just not too bad at it, which is quite the surprise.
And with all the cars now over the line, let's see our top 3 again. Williams, Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton.
So there it is,
and if today's practice is anything to go by, we're in for an exceptional weekend of Formula 1.
Here and we can see George Russell finished in 10th in that practice session. So good on George for finally putting a result on the board. We'll scroll down even further. There's Devin Butler down in 17th. And Lucas Weber down in 19th. Which is not so good for them. I honestly would have expected more of my F2 rivals.
Let's have your take on it. You were flying in practice. Do you think you can carry this over to qualifying? How does a car handle in the wet? Do you have any worries going into the race and qualifying? You left some bodywork out there on the track. Were you struggling for grip? Appreciate your time.
As you've seen there, I went for an answer that
it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Hamilton, Gasly and Max Verstappen.
Affected our
Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However,
as,
we'll be back shortly for more
12th,
Formula 1
Lucas
action.
Weber at 14th, and George Russell down in 16th. Scroll down even further to find Devin Butler down in 18th. Devin Butler, such a hothead and such a friggin' idiot in F2. You know, talking about, oh, yeah, you know, I'm going to be the best, I'm rah, 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 and he's failing pretty hard here in Season 1. It's quite the surprise. Because now we're going to get the resource point update here. Now we did pass every single practice program there. You see we even perfected the one in practice 3 here, which has brought us up to 898 resource points. And yeah, there's the big hit we took from the Williams rep decrease. Now we've got a couple of messages here that we've got to have a look at heading into the qualifying session. Gonna be a clear qualifying session, and yeah, it looks like rain still right in there in that middle period for the race. So that's gonna make things interesting.
Hello and welcome from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, home to the Canadian Grand Prix, for today's qualifying session. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on in the corners and max out down the straights?
The teams will have arrived with all manner of parts designed to capitalise on the long straights. The cars will be that much harder to drive in the corners, but everyone will be in the same boat.
Alright, so here we go for Q1 now. Now, as per normal, we don't generally stuff around with having a look at changing the setup or what everyone else is doing. We're just going to go straight out onto the track and see if we can bang out a hot lap. And it looks like we might also get lucky and maybe pick up the draft of the car that's in front of us on the track here. We're a bit far ahead at the moment, but if we're quick enough we might be able to jag some draft on them. a lap now. 8th gear down to 3rd for the first corner. Down again to 2nd for the second corner. Slight lock up there on the right front. That would have lost us about half a tenth. We move now through turns 3 and 4. Down to 3rd gear for them. And then all the way back up into through to gears to 7th. And I shifted down to 2nd for here just to get a better run out. Using the slow in, fast out technique. DRS open. To come harrowing along this back straight now. Romain Grosjean has got the quick time at the moment. And it looks like we're just not going to be able to get the draft of that car in front of us. Kevin Magnussen now with a 1:13.9 takes the top spot. As we come thundering along this long straightaway. Up into 8th gear, over 330 kilometers an hour. Then bang it all the way down to 3rd. Make sure you don't take too much curb or put it into the wall of champions. And across the line. And so far we've gone P2 with a 1:13. I think that's a 555 there. Oh no, 333. 1:13, 333. Which was good enough for 12th there. Lucas Weber in 11th. George Russell down in 15th. And Devin Butler out of Q1 again for like the 4th or 5th time, down in 18th. No wonder why he didn't win the Formula 2 championship. It turns out he just really sucks. We move on to Q2 now. And again, we're just going to go straight out for a flying lap. I'm pretty sure this was actually the fastest lap that we turned in qualifying. So when we come up to cross the line, I'm just going to stay silent. We can all watch this lap together. As we come through the speed trap, doing about 331 kilometers an hour. Bang it down into 3rd, get the run out, open DRS, it's time to start the lap. There we got in the grass, had a big lock up coming into the final chicane there, but we crossed the line and it's a 1:12.7. Again good enough for P2, just behind Leclerc who did a 12.5. And now we skip ahead to the end of qualifying and it's good enough for P7 altogether. And George Russell, our teammate, managing to get P11 in Q2 here, which is good for him. He exceeded my expectations for what he was going to get there. And we'll scroll down a little bit further, and down in 15th is Lucas Weber, adding to the further disappointment that the F2 rivals had shown us so far. And now we're into Q3, and we are just going to go hammer and tongs straight away because there is going to be weather on the horizon. I had a look at the little left screen there just before we got in the car, and I saw that there was a rain cloud there. So hopefully we can bang this lap out pretty quickly and hold on to position as the weather will start to roll in. out of the final corner. And we're going to cross the line, and it is good enough for P2 again at the moment. Just mere hundredths of a second off of the time set by Verstappen. 1:13.1 for us. We skip forward to the end of the lap here as we're coming into the pits, and the rain is indeed starting to come down. We've dropped down to 5th position, and there is no way that we can do another run to try and improve our time. So it looks like we're going to be stuck with the 5th position as I said.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Vettel and Valtteri Bottas. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. And Sergio Perez in P6 there in the Force India. Right up there with us. So in the top 6 there, 4 of the cars are powered by Mercedes. Which is quite incredible. Now we're going to go to the rivalry update, and we've absolutely smashed George Russell and Devin Butler. We see the resource point gain now as well. And that's a gain of 220 points, which gets us 1,117 points to play around with. And we've pretty much all but repaired the reputation loss that we had from Williams there. And now,
well done. That was a good qualifying performance.
Gonna have one last quick check of the weather, and then it's into the race.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Williams and Perez, Ricciardo, Gasly, Stroll and Charles Leclerc, Russell, Hülkenberg, Carlos Sainz and Magnussen, Weber, Norris, Devin Butler and Kimi Raikkonen. Albon and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So Romain Grosjean this time the only man with penalties. He'd been a little bit of a thorn in our side earlier on in the season.
See if you can achieve 13th or better.
Alrighty, no worries, boss. Because we're going to have a look at the strategy. And it looks like our soft tyres are going to run into the wet period here. So we're going to be fairly lucky by the looks of things. Going on to the intermediate tyres right when it should be about time for us to pit in to get rid of these soft tyres. So we do the formation lap.
We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice start. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want to bog down.
I always bring up the tyre menu here when I'm doing my formation lap. We skip forward to the just after the hairpin here, and the skies are starting to open up already. You can see there on the camera lens there is a couple of drops of water, and it is starting to rain already. So this could hamper us quite a bit to start this race. It would almost be worth starting from the pits on wets. We'll go to 5 red lights now. And we're underway to start the Canadian Grand Prix from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Perez gets an early jump on us. And we just about hit him on the back there going through turn 1. We compose ourselves enough to get a little bit of a run coming out of turn 2. We we go inside and absolutely dive bomb him going into turn 3. It might not look like it, but there is still actually precipitation falling from the sky at the moment, as we get a little bit of a lock up there going into turn 5. Now we're starting to get a bit of a gap between ourselves and the front runners here. Which if practice 2 is anything to go by, we should be able to bridge when we go into that wet period. Because we were a full second up on everyone else in the wet. As Perez goes to a look on the inside there in the hairpin. But we get a really good run on the slight outside of that corner. Now we brake very heavily here for the final chicane. There's some more water appearing on the screen now. And Lewis Hamilton starts things off by leading us through to the end of turn 1.
Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
And now we skip forward ahead to the middle of lap 4 now. And my tyres have just about gone completely off. And I think it's time for inters. We see there's a lot of rain on the lens now. And yeah, the car was just becoming very hard to handle, and I just wasn't doing it anymore. You'll hear here as we start to come into the pits.
Okay, even though we're seeing cars struggle in these conditions, if we pit for inters now, we're going to be too slow and we'll burn them out. Make the best of it for the time being.
Jeff, your timing couldn't be any more impeccable if you tried. Right at the pit entry, after we had already gone past the corner, he says, "This is probably not a good idea." You had the entire straightaway there, Jeff, and you failed.
Up to speed now.
So
let's
we
get some
are
heat into
on
those
the
tyres.
intermediate tyres now. And we've skipped forward to lap 6. This is when our tyres are starting to come into their own now. As you can see, we've gained a lot of time on the cars in front. It took about 2 laps for this stage to happen.
George is coming in for his stop.
Is jumping into the pits. Some teams are even double stacking as they're getting their cars onto the wet weather tyres. See now, as we start lap number 7, DRS has officially been disabled. This has become a wet weather race now. And we are right on the back of Lando Norris, who I think is still out on dry tyres.
We're leading our teammate by 5.1 seconds.
This is not good for him and his team at the moment. As we're pushing fairly hard here to try and catch up to him a little bit. Because I wanted to investigate what tyres he was on. And yet he is still on the soft tyres, and we get a very easy overtake on him. We skip forward now to the end of lap 7. We see the second group of cars that needed to have pitted, which includes all of the leaders who waited an extra lap to come into the pits. I think they knew that there was going to be a flurry of pit stops in the last lap, so they all decided to wait a lap so they didn't get held up in the pits. And we have made our way up to 4th as Mercedes had to double stack. Bottas is now way behind us, and we have also jumped Perez again. We move ahead now to the end of lap 9, and we've got a big run on Verstappen. He goes defensive, we go to the left,
Nice move.
and we
Good
get
job.
him before the braking zone for this final chicane. And it really does seem that the AI just aren't as good as what one would expect in the wet weather here. We get a little bit of a lock-up going into turn 1 as we're starting to close in on the back of Vettel. And there's yellow flags now. And we have a listen to Vettel's car, and Vettel has an issue. Now, I'm not sure whether Vettel's got an engine issue or whether it's a hydraulic or electrical issue. But either way, that is going to be Vettel out of the Grand Prix. And it looks like it is smoking quite a bit there through the spray, so It's definitely a mechanical issue of some description.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
And we had to do a quick little stab on the brake there just before virtual safety car ended, because we were almost too far ahead of our delta then. So we just about timed that one perfectly. And now we skip ahead to the end of lap 12. We're in P2 at the moment, which is absolutely baffling for a Season 1 Williams. And we have Hamilton in our sights. So things are looking good here for us to maybe possibly get an overtake. Because we know that when it comes time to go back to dry tyres, Hamilton is going to have our number all day, every day.
We're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
Whatever you reckon, Jeff, shut up. Alright, so now we are indeed right on the back of Hamilton.
Breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds per lap.
Hamilton going very gingerly through this little sector. As we skip ahead now to the hairpin, we lock up big time and we go for a big dive bomb accidentally.
Great manoeuvre.
And as you can hear there was lots of contact between myself and Hamilton as I overtake him in the hairpin. And we've taken the lead of this Grand Prix. Now we skip ahead to the end of lap 14.
Right, some information on Hamilton. They seem to have an issue.
And that is some great news from Jeff for once. Hamilton has an issue, which means we should be largely unchallenged here towards the end of the race, even if we do have to go back to dry tyres.
Seconds.
And now we move to the end of lap 16. I had a quick look at the tyres. The track is mostly dry, so I thought,
confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
It is time to go to dry tyres. I believe I can make the time up necessary to re-overtake Hamilton if he has to overtake us in the pits here. Make sure I do indeed select the soft tyres as I accidentally cycle through the cameras. There's Hamilton back past us and Verstappen. Bottas is looming as well, but I don't think he's going to get close enough.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Taking off the pit limiter there. Bottas crosses us, so we cross him back. And we take P3 back. And now we just got to charge ahead to try and overtake Verstappen and Hamilton.
We're about a lap over.
Move on now to the end of lap 17. And we just caught up so much time on both these guys. We get the easy overtake done on Verstappen there. And now we've got Hamilton locked in our sights. Hamilton going defensive, still on the intermediate tyres, mind you. And we get the easy overtake made on him. And now it's time to start the final lap. Now we are completely, legitimately in the lead of this Grand Prix. And now we get to do a bit of a celebratory lap here, because we know there's no way that these guys are going to be able to catch and overtake us, because they're on intermediate tyres still, and this track is bone dry. Even DRS has been reactivated by the FIA. That happened at the start of lap 17. I did get 2 warnings earlier on in the race for corner cutting. So realistically, it's all about just trying to make sure that I don't cut any corners, because I want to try and remain penalty free here. But the gap that we have over Hamilton and Verstappen right now is just absolutely massive, and it's growing by the second. And now we come up through the final chicane. Just about take too much curb there on the left-hander. and we cross the checkered flag. It's a win for Williams.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
Here they are then, coming into Parc Fermé, and an excellent win for the Williams team. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
So here they come now with Williams leading the way to the podium. A hard-fought victory for the team today, and what I'm sure they'll savour. It's Williams, today's winners.
There we are, winners of the Canadian Grand Prix, flanked by Hamilton and Verstappen. So we beat the big boys with the Mercedes engines, with our own Mercedes engine. Absolutely ecstatic day.
Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Well, I certainly didn't have any complaints with Kevin Magnussen's performance today. Incredible driving.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order.
I'm
equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Absolutely incredible. Lucas Weaver down in 12th, and Devin Butler down in 13th as well. So we're absolutely dominating the rivalries right now. We have a look at the driver standings, and I have moved up to P6, right behind Charles Leclerc. We have a look at the constructors standings now. Racing Point has overtaken Haas, and we stay steady in P4 there. Now it's time for the interview with Claire.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. That was a good race for Lucas. Are you pleased to see him doing well? You've had experience with Devon's fast, aggressive style. Any advice for the drivers he passed today? You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? You were cutting your way through the field during the race. Appreciate your time.
Alrighty, so now we're going to go and have a look at the updated rivalries and also the resource point gain that we're going to get from this. It's so good to see all 5 of those boxes ticked for us, as we're absolutely dominating our 2 rivals again. And time for the resource point gain as well, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a big boost for this one. $352 points, which brings us up to 1,469, so we're going to be able to get a couple more upgrades to hopefully carry over to the next Grand Prix, which should be at France.
Fantastic
actually.
Podium, well done. Keep pushing like this for the rest of the season.
Have a look quickly at the messages that we got. It looks like we've got a couple of interviews here from Devon and Lucas. So if you guys want to read these, then feel free to pause at your leisure. And now it's time to go see what upgrades we want to do. We jump into the R&D tree here. We still have that major engine upgrade that should be coming for the French Grand Prix. So we decide here to go for the streamlined suspension arms. At the time I just thought it was probably the best idea that we could do to help us out for France. Not being a fairly downforce needed circuit. And then the second upgrade we're going to go for here is actually the ICE durability upgrade. Just because we've been burning through ICEs like it's going out of fashion, so we needed to have that little bit of protection there. Alrighty guys, so this is going to wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for the support. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment, and if you don't mind, also consider subscribing to the channel. We're going to quickly have one last look at the points for both drivers and constructors, and then we're going to finish off with the highlights as provided by Formula 1. So I'll see you guys next time.